Hey Barney, Tim Handren, your mayor here, just giving you a Mayor's Minute update. This will be a couple minutes long, but I want to tell you about our city council meeting that happened last night on June 9th. A lot of topics that we covered, but at the very beginning we did get an update on all things COVID-19. In case you're not watching the county website and seeing the numbers, we are at a current number of 7 people that are actively quarantined and 37 total cases in Kendall County. We've been pretty steady around that 5, 6, 7 number over the last several weeks, which is a great thing, even as we're opening up. I would just tell you this Friday, Kendall County will be going to 75% opening for all the businesses. So anyone who's been operating at 50% will be, according to the governor's last declaration, will be able to go to 75% capacity. It feels like we're getting closer to normal. However, I would just caution us to not get too over exuberant. And, we don't want to see a second wave of this thing coming. I know I don't. I think Texas had a higher number of cases this past week. Kind of to be expected because we're doing a lot more testing. The good news is on the hospitalization side, that number is staying very, very steady. And again, those are the 2 things the governor's going to be looking at. So I know you guys are staying up to speed. I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we still have this pandemic that's going on around us. There's still not a vaccine. We just need to be mindful about how we're acting. And one other thing related to COVID-19 is last night, Brian Fowler, our District 4 councilman and doctor, talked about a group of doctors in Kendall County that he's put together. It's a medical advisory board that I asked him to put together. The members of the medical advisory committee that Brian Fowler has put together are Dr. Ben Stahl, Dr. Stiskel, our county health director, Dr. Sherilyn Wood, and Dr. David Fuentes, and then of course Brian Fowler. But I asked them to pull together a group of people just to help advise us on what's coming, what do we need to be thinking about. Again, I'm not going to let this thing just dive and go by the wayside. I want to be very thoughtful about all the things that we need to be thinking about, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they continue to educate us on. One other thing we did last night that was kind of cool is we recognized a young 3-year-old man named Miles Buttrey. If you haven't seen the story, we recognized him for being a hero in an interesting situation during the rains a couple weeks ago. Miles was able to go and get help from his mother several houses away. A little 3-year-old kid knew how to walk all the way back home, get mom, and tell her mom what had happened. The fire department recognized him. It was pretty cool if you did get a chance to see that. An important thing that we put on last night was a public hearing for Blanco Road and some improvements that we're going to be doing on that. We set a public hearing for July 14th. It's important that we all get educated on what we're talking about on Blanco Road, because today we have it as 2 lanes going either direction. The proposal that TxDOT and the City of Boerne have been working with are to turn that into just 1 lane each direction with bike lanes and a center area that's a safe place so people, when they're crossing that street, you aren't having to cross 4 lanes of traffic. The data that we look at from multiple sources would tell us that this is a very good solution for our community and won't create any traffic problems. But we will be having a public hearing on July 14th, your chance to speak up and maybe share what you're learning about that kind of traffic solution. Last night, Brian Fowler announced, I think we've all known this was coming, but Brian Fowler announced that he has sold his house and closed on that. So yesterday was his last day as a city councilman in District 4 because he has changed districts. We appreciate Brian's service over the past year. He's been a great council member. I certainly appreciate what he's brought to the table. He's not leaving the city. He's just in a different district, but he had to resign his seat because of our city charter. What that means is we will be taking applications for people that are interested in taking his seat for the next year. It's a 1-year remaining term that he leaves behind. Those applications will be taken through June 30th, and then City Council will be appointing a replacement for Brian in District 4 early in July. We have 30 days to do that. That's what our city charter calls for, so we'll be going through that process. We recognized Captain Steve Perez last night. He's been leading the city's effort on COVID-19 and the whole Emergency Operations Center team for the city staff. And Chief Kohler gave him a certificate of merit for all the great work he's done. I can tell you, I've been working with Steve Perez very closely over the last 3 months as we've been dealing with COVID-19. He's an incredible leader, an incredible asset to this community and to the police department. And it was kind of cool to see him get recognized for a job well done. No fireworks at City Council last night, but we did talk about fireworks, and we are going to have a fireworks display in the city of Boerne this year. I'm excited about that. I've been asking to see if we could make it happen without creating any problems or challenges from a COVID-19 standpoint. So you'll be hearing a whole bunch more about that over the next couple of weeks. And you'll hear an announcement that this is going to be turned into something that will be not only a great display for the community, but beneficial for the entire community. Keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll be talking more about that between now and July 4th. I'll just say last night was Ron Bowman's last city council meeting as our city manager. You know, he's been leading our city for the last 40 years. He reflected for several minutes last night on all the things that this city has gone through since he stepped in this role literally 40 years ago. And the number of mayors he's been through, the number of city council people he's been through, the number of trials and tribulations projects, various things, as this city has evolved from a couple thousand people to almost 20,000 people today. My hat's off to Ron for all the things he's done for our community. He's been a consummate professional, a consummate gentleman. I think he's been a wonderful asset for our city as well. And I'm excited for him going into his next phase of life. Retirement is well deserved. And so his last day is obviously going to be Friday, but last night was his last city council meeting. If you didn't get a chance to see it, we'll also be doing something in his honor. And that is, we're going to name city council chambers in his honor for the 40 years of service that he's given our community. All of city council voted unanimously to do that. So hats off to Ron Bowman. Thank you for all you've done for the last 40 years for our community. And that's all for now, Boerne. I'll give you another update in a couple of weeks. Have a good day.